Hello everyone, I hereby declare open the season of AMD 9000 series processor launches. I call it a season because AMD postponed the last-minute launch of its new desktop processors, which were supposed to be public as of July 28th, and decided to release them in stages in the sweet NVIDIA style. This delay and speculated issues were somewhat hushed up. However, everything that happened in the past is now water under the bridge, and the new 9000 series processors are in front of me on this table. We can now reveal the results of our tests with the Ryzen 5 9600X and Ryzen 7 9700X, with the other two processors from this launch, Ryzen 9 9900X and Ryzen 9 9950X, to be presented next week. Before we begin, I should mention that the processors we are presenting today arrived only 2 days ago, so there has been little sleep these nights. Also, the Ryzen 9 processors, which we will present next week, haven't arrived yet, so we couldn't give spoilers about them even if we wanted to. Therefore, we work with what we have, that means with sleepy colleagues and processors pushed to their limits in a very short time, which seems to have become the norm in recent years. I remember other times when processors were available to the press weeks before the official launch, a working model that, in addition to allowing enough time for detailed reviews, helped the manufacturer identify and fix any bugs or issues that might arise before they hit the shelves. Nowadays, however, companies have become obsessed with secrecy. Leaks are crimes against humanity, and information is guarded with a strictness worthy of a better cause. Not to mention that the periods between the new generations are so short that the entire process is compressed unbelievably. The result of these rushed launches can be seen especially in the Blue camp, which now has serious reliability issues with high-end processors, and you can find an entire video dedicated to this topic on our channel. But on the other hand, at least AMD seems to be learning from what happens with Intel, and this delay in launching the new desktop processors, which was supposed to happen at the end of July, is, according to our official sources, due to extreme caution in delivering processors that meet quality and performance standards. So here we are, face to face with the mid-range of the new 9000 series processors. And for the first time in recent years, this arms race between Intel and AMD seems to be heading in the right direction. All AMD 9000 series processors, except for the top-of-the-line 9950X, come with a lower TDP than the previous generation. Hallelujah and praise the Lord! And not just a little lower, but much lower. For today's two processors, we are talking about a reduction from 105 watt to 65 watts, almost 40%. Furthermore, AMD boasts an average 16% increase in instructions per cycle. More interesting, however, is the declared 22% increase in performance per watt, a figure that somewhat restores my hope that x86 processors still have a future. What we will see next are two processors that no longer hit the maximum temperature limit, but rather reach the maximum power set by the manufacturer and stay there throughout the full load tests. So let's get to know each of them. The Ryzen 5 9600X remains a hexa-core with multi-threading, but its boost frequency has slightly increased compared to the 7600X, from 5.3 to 5.4 GHz. The Ryzen 7 9700X also remains an octa-core with 16 threads and received the same modest frequency bump from 5.4 to 5.5 GHz. The cache memory values remain unchanged at 1 MB for L2 and 32 MB for L3, but although the physical sizes of the chiplets remain unchanged, the switch to the 4nm manufacturing process has led to a significant increase in the number of transistors, from 6.57 billion per CCD to 8.6 billion. To clarify at least the changes on paper, here is a complete specification table. Also noteworthy is that AMD has increased compatibility with high-speed DDR5 memory, and when motherboards with the AMD 800 series chipset will appear, we will see speeds of 8000 megatransfers per second or more in reality, not just in fairy tales. The signs look good because we had the processors available for testing along with the Gigabyte X670E Aorus Master motherboard and the Kingston Fury 7200 megatransfers per second memory kit, and neither processor hiccuped when we activated the XMP profile on the memory. Oh, and one more thing. AMD also mentioned massive improvements in AI processing power, but when I heard AI again, I got a headache and I didn't pay much attention. I only remember that the processors are capable of AVX 512 instructions, which offer a performance boost, better efficiency and greater flexibility for software developers. AVX 512 instructions are relevant for scientific calculations, financial modeling and multimedia processing, besides benefiting AI training. But we had a few clear objectives in this testing session. We aimed to verify AMD's claims regarding performance increases, understand where the new processors stand in terms of raw power and energy consumption. So we mounted the processors and the memory kit, put our old Asus Ryujin 2 cooling system on the processor, connected the motherboard to the power supply, and started the tests. I don't want to waste your time, so here are the synthetic tests. Well, what have you done, AMD? Improvements of 5–10%? You might say it's weak if you haven't been paying attention so far. And if you haven't been paying attention, I'll tell you again. These 5–10% improvements are achieved with a 40% reduction in TDP. Essentially, these mid-range processors from the new series follow the trend of laptop processors we discussed a few days ago, so we have a massive increase in efficiency rather than in performance. One mention is that we noticed a few stutters in the superposition test, and it's still unclear why. As we will see below, this issue is very rarely present in games, but not entirely absent. However, let's stick a bit longer to productivity tests, where the Ryzen 7 9700X brings an almost 25% performance increase in multi-core tasks. It's clear that for those who need a work processor, the 9700X brings clear benefits over the 9600X. The differences between the 9700X and 9600X for single-core tasks are under 2%, a result expected given the similarly small frequency differences. Although we didn't have physical time to make an extensive gaming comparison, we can still draw a few conclusions regarding the behavior of these two processors. First of all, as before, the differences between the Ryzen 5 and Ryzen 7 in gaming are extremely small, generally between 1 and 6%, with an average of around 2%. Keep in mind that we used Full HD and QHD resolutions, and as the resolution increases, the differences become even smaller. For gamers, we recommend either the 9600X or, for now at least, the champion of the gaming processors, the older 7800X3D. The 9000 series X3D processors will take months to appear, so if the purchase decision has to be made this year, the Ryzen 7 7800X3D is the most suitable processor for gaming. Now let's also look at temperatures and power consumption. I admit the ROG Ryujin 2 360 is a bit overkill for these two processors, but from our experience with the 7700X, even such a cooler couldn't keep it in check, the processor reaching the 95 degrees Celsius limit. Well, no more, because the 9700X in particular has temperatures that pleasantly surprised me. Thus, it reached a maximum of 61 degrees Celsius, while the 9600X ironically reached 69 degrees. Both temperatures are excellent and validate, in my opinion, AMD engineers' choice to favor efficiency over more extravagant performances. The maximum power consumed by the two processors perfectly matches the technical specifications with a value of 88 watt. For reference, the 7600X and 7700X needed no less than 142 watt for maximum boost frequency under full load. So, a big thumbs up for the 9000 series. As an intermediate conclusion in this phased launch, the Ryzen 5 and Ryzen 7 9000 series processors do not fundamentally overturn performance charts, but are significantly cooler and more efficient, with a performance increase of about 10% from one generation to another. Notably, the single-core progress hides a much greater multi-core potential, limited only by the processor's maximum power. It will be interesting to see how these processors perform if we raise the power limits to the next threshold, but even so, these processors seem to me a big step in the right direction. But I sit here and think, for the first time in a long time, I'm very curious to see how the heavyweights Ryzen 9 9900X and 9950X will perform. From the leaks on the internet, it seems that Intel's supremacy in productivity tasks is about to wane, which would be another heavy blow for Intel after AMD's X3D processors took the gaming crown. However, to be sure, we will have to wait until next week. And until then, thanks for watching, please subscribe to our teeny tiny channel, and I wish you good luck in everything you do.